Gentlemen, welcome to our monthly meeting of the Cobb County Board of Zoning Appeals. And as is our custom at this time, I'm going to ask Officer Rott to come forward. Officer Rott is one of the police department's finest. That he represents all the public service people here in Cobb County. And if we'd all please rise, Officer Rott will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Officer Rott. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our monthly meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals. What we're going to concern ourselves first with today is the consent agenda. These are applications that not only this board has reviewed, but our professional and engineering staff have also reviewed these applications. To our knowledge, there's no known opposition to any of these particular cases. So as we go through, this is the way we'll proceed. Mr. John Peterson, our head zoning administrator, will read each one of these cases into the record. The applicant, he or she, will identify themselves by raising their hand. Likewise, if there's anybody here in opposition to any of these particular cases, if they would identify themselves by raising their hand. And if we do have anybody in opposition, we will pull that particular case and hear it in its regular numeric order. So with that said, John, is there any special comments you want to make at this time?
The only comment I have, Mr. Chairman, is I would ask the people in the audience to please turn your cell phone volumes off if you have a cell phone. They do interfere with the broadcast and presentations. So if you have a cell phone, please turn the volume off. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'm ready to start the consent agenda.
Let's go right into it, John.
Thank you. Cobb County Board of Zoning Appeals, variance hearing consent agenda for January 10th, 2018. Variance case V1, Sherry J. Russell requests a variance to waive the rear setback from required 30 feet to 22 feet in land lot 901 of the 17th District. The property is located on the north side of Vinings Oak Drive, east of Log Cabin Drive. Staff recommends approval. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is present. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V1? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V2, Zhu Zhen requests a variance to waive the rear setback from required 35 feet to 32 feet and increase the maximum allowable impervious surface from 35% to 52% in land lot 912 of the 16th District. The property is located on the east side of Stonecroft Way, south of Sawmill Road. Staff recommends approval, subject to stormwater management comments. Is the applicant present? The record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V2? There's one person opposed, Mr. Chairman, so we'll pull that off. Okay, so V2 is pulled off consent. Variance case V3, Joe Baker requests a variance to waive the required setbacks for an accessory structure over 650 square feet for an existing 1,042 square foot barn from required 100 feet to 35 feet adjacent to the north property line and to 66 feet adjacent to the west property line, and to also allow access on an unpaved, untreated surface in land lot 305 of the 20th District. The property is located on the east side of Hiram Ackworth Highway, north of Wyndham Lakes Drive. Staff recommends approval, subject to traffic comments. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V3? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V4, Joseph Dawson requests a variance to increase the maximum allowable impervious surface from required 35% to 42% in land lots 183 and 184 of the 16th District. The property is located at the northern terminus of Chapel Grove Lane, north of Chapel Grove Drive. Staff recommends approval, subject to stormwater management comments. Is the applicant present? The director show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V4? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V5, the Milford Baptist Church requests a variance to waive the setback for a sign from required 52 feet from the center line of the road to 49 feet, and to allow an electric sign on church property that is not located along an arterial roadway in land lots 630, 631, and 703 of the 19th District. The property is located on the north side of Milford Church Road, west of Hicks Road. Staff recommends approval, subject to the sign rendering contained in the variance analysis, with the zoning division manager approving any changes. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V5? Let the record show there's none opposed, and that completes the consent agenda, Mr. Chairman, board.
Okay, it's back to this board for discussion on case V1, V3, V4, V5. Is there any comments or discussions on any of those particular cases?
Mr. Chairman, I do have one.
Okay,
The applicant in case V4 has revised their request from a maximum of 42% to 40%, so I'd like to ask that change be made, still subject to staff comments.
okay,
All right, so a maximum of 40% then.
okay. I've got a motion to second that particular comment. All in favor signify by voting just on that one case. All right, it is 4-0. No. No, we're just doing this one particular case right now, just this one case. That's a 4-0. Okay, now, back for all the other cases, I'll entertain a motion if there's no other comments.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as presented with the changes.
I'll second that.
Second. All in favor, vote, please. Yes or
Murray.
no?
And we just want to note that variance case V2 is not on the consent agenda anymore.
That is correct.
Okay.
I verbally removed that.
All right.
Okay, that consent agenda is a 4-0 vote. Monique Sheffield is away today, so for those of you that are here and you're on the consent agenda, your business is complete with us for today. You're welcome to stay. If you leave, we'd like to ask you to leave quietly, and we'll continue on with our business. Now, before we get into the next part of our business, that's our regular agenda, let me give you folks a little insight on how we're going to conduct that. The applicant, he or she, will have a 10-minute period to make their application known to this board. Likewise, and collectively, the opposition will have a 10-minute period to make their opposition known to this board. Those of you that are going to give testimony, Mrs. Bates is our officer today. We're going to ask you to come forward. Ms. Bates will swear you in, and then all testimony will be given to the podium to my right. So with that said, John, let's read in case number 2 into the record, and we'll get them sworn in.
Yes, sir. Variance case V2, Zuzen requests a variance to waive the rear setback from required 35 feet to 32 feet and increase the maximum allowable impervious surface from 35% to 52% in land lot 912 of the 16th district. The property is located on the east side of Stonecroft Way, south of Sumo Road. The applicant is present, and there was one person in opposition. All those persons wishing to address the board, please come forward to be sworn in.
Okay, come forward, we'll get you all sworn in, and then we'll go with the testimony. All right, the applicant comes first. Sir, you can have a seat right there. All right, sir, for the purpose of the record, first thing, give me your name, please.
My name is Tom Ingram. I work for DC Enclosures on behalf of Mr. Zhu.
Okay, so you're representing him. You are the pool company guy?
We are the sunroom company that's going to build the enclosure over
Okay.
his pool.
Tell us what we're looking at.
We are, that pool that you see in the back there with all the covering and everything on it, we're just going to enclose that whole area with a glass enclosure so they can, enjoy their pool and everything. So it'll have a glass roof, glass walls all the way around it. So it's going to be covering most of that already covered area.
Okay, could you give us more information? Are you going to take up any more space?
We are going to increase just a little bit where you see the back side of the pool right there. We're going to square that all off, and it's only going to be like another extra 100 square feet
Okay.
so we can have a foundation to put the room on it.
We have a survey. Do you
Yes.
want to, how about if we put that survey up, Cornelius, how this gentleman can point to the survey and show us exactly how he's going to square that off. And by squaring that off, I guess that's where the variance comes in. You're going from 35
Correct.
feet to 32 feet. All right, just give us a minute. Let's get it up on the screen.
Okay,
All right.
as it sits right now, All that you see in this part is already what's there. What we're gonna do is add a little bit to this side, come out, go across, and just square it right off. So that's where the extra variance comes from. What is there right now is at about 49% of coverage. So with our little bit there, we're only gonna be increasing it to the 52%.
Okay. And again, that's going to be a rectangle. It looks to me to be somewhat of a rectangle building. Is that?
Yes, I have,
Do you have any pictures of what you're going to put up?
All right, this shows you the back of the house right here. This is from the outside of the yard looking back towards the house. That's what the front of it's going to be. And then these two down here are what the sides of it are gonna be. So this is all the wall. What you see, these lines up here, that's all glass panels that'll be on the roof right there.
And is it a slanted roof? Is
It's
that?
a slanted roof, as you see right here. It's gonna attach to the house at this point, and then it'll slant down
Okay.
to the front there. So it's what they call like a shed-style roof.
And it's all glass, is that
It's all
correct?
glass, correct.
Anything else you want to tell us?
No, that's about it. Everything else is there. All we're doing is just adding that little bit to the outside so we can keep this wall straight across.
Okay. All right, anything else you want to add?
No, sir.
Okay, if you would, just have a seat, and at this time, we'll hear from the opposition. All right, again, for the purpose of the record, first of all, give me your name.
Yeah, I'm Raja Gangi Reddy. I live on the right side of that house.
Okay, give me that name again.
Raja
Raja.
Gangi Reddy.
Okay, all right. Okay, Roger, go right ahead now, tell us, sir.
Okay. On the existing setup there, they have the pool. And when they got the last variance, whatever the work that they have done over there is like stacking up a lot of water on the edge in the way back in both the property corners. And now I think he's asking for the variance where he's going to put the enclosure, and then the enclosure, instead of, if there is a natural waterfall, rainfall or whatever, instead of falling, it falling all over the area, it's going to come around and then may probably worsen the problem that I already have in the border in the way back.
All
And
right,
my problem there is,
Let me stop you for 1 second. Let me try to help you out. Is that your house next there? Is your house there?
no, the one above is my house.
You
The
see
one
where that
above-
see where that little hand is? See where the hand is? Is that
my
your
hou-
house?
That's my house.
Okay, enlarge that a little bit. We've got a young man right behind you that can help us. Okay, that's your house.
Yeah.
Now, we see where the pool is to the relationship to your house. So what do you think the problem is going to develop?
After they had this pool, and within a couple of years, the water started stacking up way in the way back between both the borders, because earlier there was no like encroachment of this pool and whatever that he has done last time. So the water was naturally flowing all the way in the back. Now it is being obstructed where the end. And if he's going to do the enclosure, my concern is the water is going to come more towards the border of the like property line, and it will stack up more and start becoming like another secondary pool for me.
Is the water coming onto your property now?
Yeah, it is in the way in the back, like in the corner. It is between both the houses. Way in the back, it is. I have a picture of it. I can show.
Yes, yeah, if you got something to show. Just
And it's like on that side, when he has done the original
I see.
original approval or design, there is supposed to be a stone canal that what I thought would naturally let the water go when I gave my initial approval. like as a neighborhood project. And now it started like stagnating the water there in that corner like that. And if he's going to put the enclosure, what I told him is he needs to start collecting that water somehow and then properly drain it. So I'm not sure if that is going to be in the design or not, or if this is a code problem or whatever. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell us?
That's pretty much it.
Okay. All right, if you would have a seat, then I declare the public session over with. And at this time, I'm going to turn over to Mr. Brian McDaniel. Brian, would you, he's the representative of that district, so would you lead us in the discussion?
Sure. I'd like to ask Mr. Ingram to come back up for 1 second, if I could, just ask a couple of questions. Just a couple of comments came up here that was news to me, and that was about when the pool variance was granted. I was thinking that was part of the original construction of the home. Do you happen to know?
The homeowner that I represent just recently bought the home maybe a year ago or so.
It was there
The
before.
pool was already there. There is a permit that was pulled for that, but it was never finalized out because of the impervious, is what I found out. So I had called the county about that on the zoning and everything. They told me that I don't have to worry about the pool itself because that was a separate permit and that would be underneath the pool company that put it in. But being that I'm covering that area, now I have to address the impervious area.
Right.
Behind that house where he's shown is a drainage easement, and I have been in contact with stormwater already on that, and they are recommending that I put a catch barrels in to catch the rain off the roof of it to hold it before it releases so it doesn't cause any kind of flooding like that.
Okay, thank you. That was my question for you. And I do have a question for Roger, too.
Wait,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
before
We have
he-
other, yeah.
Let's stay with the procedure before he leaves. Any questions, any more questions for this gentleman before he leaves? I have a question for you. If that's the case, as you discussed with stormwater, putting a catch basin in and all that, have you communicated to the property owner next door about what you're going to do?
No, we haven't, because I'm not sure what size it was going to be or anything, and we weren't sure if the county was actually gonna allow us to build the enclosure on there. So until we found out for sure, then we have to know, and that's what we were gonna let the homeowners association, they all have been in contact with the homeowners association and all the neighbors, even in the early process of planning this enclosure. So they've all agreed already, the whole neighborhood has agreed that there was no problem with it. They, were all within consent of it.
So they've already been aware.
The homeowner association and all the
They're all
neighbors have
aware
been
of it.
aware of what we're planning on doing.
Okay. Any other questions for this gentleman? Okay, sir, thank you. Brian? Brian?
I'm sorry? Yeah, I will. Yeah, Dave, do you mind joining us? Thanks.
Dave Braden with the Stormwater Management Division
Of Cobb County.
of Cobb County, that's right.
Tell us what you want, David.
Pardon?
So, yeah, question for Dave is just simply, this is the first I'd heard about the water issue with Roger's property there, and I know you guys have been working on a mitigation plan for this thing. Do you feel confident that that would address the issue that
I believe so.
Roger has?
I was unaware that there was a drainage issue between the neighbors as well. And normally, when we run into the situation where we're mitigating the increase in impervious coverage, we don't really care which roof area, which impervious area we deal with the dry wells or however we're going to provide that with. Knowing this, we'll make sure that that corner is the one that we use the dry wells to take that runoff and redirect it. So knowing that, that's what we use when we do this,
So
design the system.
essentially, you're saying at plan review, that will be handled at plan review.
But it doesn't really go through plan review, but when they come in to pull their permit,
Right.
then the mitigation plan that we sign off on will reflect what we're requiring. That's
Do you
right.
think what you could do, being the county representative, would alleviate the problem that the next door neighbor has?
I think so. We can probably take all the downspouts from the roof area on that end of the house that my guess are, we'll verify it in the field, but my guess is they're discharging around, they're probably not going through the pool, so they're discharging around that side. We can pick up those downspouts and as well as the roof of the new pool enclosure and carry those to the dry well and get it away from that area altogether. So I'm pretty comfortable that we'll be able to address that issue, so. We can't do anything about all the water that's coming up. That northern parcel actually drain, can you turn the topo on, Jim or Tim? That backyard actually drains toward this property, so yeah, we can't do anything about any drainage from that parcel, but we could definitely handle on-site stuff.
Yeah, so one of the questions I wanted to ask, and it might need to be addressed to Roger, is that, was this water problem started after the pool was constructed or not? Maybe,
I can't speak to that because I
Yeah,
wasn't part of it,
right.
but my guess is putting that flat pool in there when it used to be a graded yard probably did impede some of the progress. But there is on the other hand, there is a drainage easement there to carry it, so
Yeah.
it may just be how it's getting to the drainage easement has been interrupted maybe, and that's something we can deal with the plan.
Okay.
So good.
Ms. Williams has a question.
Dave, some of this is, we don't know how much is coming from his own property.
Well, look, from that topo, all the roof area in the whole backyard is draining to that one corner, so
So-
there's a good bit of water there, right?
So then we've got the one here, so will putting a enclosure really create that much more water? With the-
Not from like they said, it's only about a couple 100 square feet more than what's already there.
So it wouldn't really, but with the barrels that we're talking about, that would help with the collection of the water that's going on
Right,
there. But it wouldn't probably stop all of it, because some of it's his own.
Right, that's correct. But when
But I wonder if he couldn't put, I mean, the homeowner couldn't put barrels in on his side too. Him,
well, yeah,
Roger.
Roger,
I think we could
Roger.
probably look at the way the water's getting
Yeah.
to the drainage easement. when
And
they're
that might
putting-
take care of
When
that
they're
down
putting
there.
the system in. I think just pulling all of the roof area and the pool deck area that's going to this area from the subject site should help somewhat,
okay.
yeah.
All right, thanks.
So sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, maybe just for one little point of clarification, if Roger could come back up for 1 second and answer
Yeah.
that question.
Raja.
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 Raja, Raja, sorry about that. Yeah, so my question was, when the problem really started, I mean, is that something that you've experienced for
Yeah,
a long time, or is that just since the pool was
since the
constructed?
pool is constructed, because earlier it was all clean and very good from the beginning. Once the project started, once the pool is constructed, even for a couple of years, I think it was okay. But I think slowly, whatever the grading and stuff that they have done in the way back started piling up, or I'm not sure. That's the reason why I was bringing up here, because maybe county can go and check what conditions they are, that what is that causing it. Because earlier it was built for the code and everything is done for the norms. I'm being delivered the home. I haven't done any changes on my side. And after the pool, after a couple of years, is when it slowly started adding up the problem. Now if I don't say that, he's not seeing it every day, but it is some different kind of pool setup there that I am experiencing every other day
Okay,
for myself.
all right,
And nobody has a visibility of that, so.
yeah,
And it was not, it is not, I mean, if it was a problem on my side, it should have been done, I mean, I should have seen it in the very beginning, in the first year itself, or even the county should have done something in the beginning to even deliver that house for me, from the builder, right? So, it was all good for some time, so only after the pool is done, it is problem for me.
okay, thank you.
Does this explanation, what this gentleman said and what the county people said, would that satisfy you? It sounds to me that would resolve the problem. I just want to make sure you understood that.
Yeah, but we talked about it like in the HOA one session we had, and I don't know what exactly they are going to do, and I don't know whether it is good for from the code perspective itself. If I haven't raised that to the board, if nobody has seen it, whatever they do, I don't know, maybe something small fix or a good fix, right? So that's the reason I'm here, to make sure it is per code. whatever is there right now, plus whatever they're gonna do, it is gonna be per code, and that's all I'm trying to achieve.
Uh, Skip?
Yeah, I just want to address one thing you just said. I assume that in your property, you are 35% or less impervious surface on your property. Is that correct? As far as you know?
As far as he knows, yeah.
Yeah. So I think you said that the county would not have, you think it's more?
Yeah, it's more than 35%.
Well, then I guess, David, if you could just nod your head, is there a role the county has with respect to making sure that his runoff is not beyond what we want it to be? Because you just said that the county would not have allowed you to get a certificate of occupancy, in effect, had the runoff been more than it was supposed to be. So I want to sort of clarify that issue, because I think you would walk out of here otherwise with a misconception about the role of the county in giving you a CO for the runoff. Is that right, Dave? Is there a sign off the county has on a new home to make sure that his runoff is satisfactory? And has that been done with this house as far as we know?
There is now, but I cannot speak to when this subdivision was done, if that was the, if that was the procedure. Because I know, I don't want to open a can of worms here, but I did check all the houses in this neighborhood just to have kind of a gut check. Every lot is over the allowable, so that, you can looking at the house right there, you can tell it's over 35%. So, yeah, every lot in this entire subdivision is over their allowable. So, there's more runoff coming off every one of these lots than there really should be. So we're singling one out because they're coming in for a permit now. We're not going to go back on homeowners that don't have an active application in, but that's under ComDev, not stormwater management, so.
So I guess the comment that, Raja, you may in fact want to talk to somebody, possibly this contractor, to see if there's something you can do to catch the rain coming off your roof and your pervious space. Also, just to help alleviate the contribution that you're making to that puddling that's going on back there in that southeast corner of your property.
No, but from the beginning, I never had problem, right? So then since the introduction of this pool and whatever the obstruction they have done.
All I'm saying is that the problem may not be totally because of your neighbor, it may be partially because of your property as well. That's all.
I mean, if it was a problem with the way it was designed, right? Like the way it was all laid out and all that, it should have been there from the beginning also. I haven't done anything myself. The only thing I can tell is after this is done for a couple
Well,
of years.
I don't want to open a legal can of worms here, but it just seems like it's, your house is potentially contributing to the problem as well.
Then maybe the rainwater is gonna, like, as it's supposed to, it will go, it's supposed to go from the way back, the way it is sloped and from the way it is granted, right? This is built and all, and that's when I got the CO, and I haven't done any changes on myself. So
Yeah, and the problem,
All I'm trying to do is I just want to
Yeah,
make sure the applicant is not in a position where they're liable for runoff on your house, on your property. That's all.
but, and you're absolutely right. We're essentially, we're trying to give you some advice and help you down the road. But that's not before us today. The only thing
know,
before
I
us,
know.
the only thing before us is this. Let's get the builder back up if we, or I'm breaking all the rules. Are you okay? Do you
Yeah,
want
I
to
am.
ask any
Thank
more
you.
questions?
Thank you, Roger.
Let me ask the builder to come back up. Can you alleviate at your cost, at your expense, to go on his property to build a culvert, whichever needs to be built to alleviate this problem? Is your client willing to do that?
No, legally, we can't build on
Okay.
this property.
I've only asked the question.
Right.
I mean, between two people, you can do that.
Right,
We can't,
right.
we can't get involved, but you could talk.
Mr. Homan,
Roger.
I mean, he would be trespassing if he went on,
I understand that, but I said they could still talk to each other.
well, the
not our-
property owners could,
Property
but
owners,
we
yeah.
can't encourage that. I mean, we just
Right.
need to deal with the variance that's before us.
Before us, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm getting like Skip, I gotta stick to the issue.
I'm trying to help you.
I know, we're trying to help everybody, that's the problem. Okay, I don't know where to go with this. I really don't. I'm a little concerned whose cost is gonna occur.
We can take it.
Brian,
Yeah.
go right ahead.
All right. Well, Raja, thanks for your comments. And likewise, Tom, thank you. I don't have any more questions for you. Did anybody else have any more? Okay.
No, we're ready to go whatever way you want to go.
All right. Well, I really appreciate Roger bringing this to our attention. After hearing, Dave talk about what the county has done, I feel confident that it will be a very comprehensive kind of mitigation plan. I feel more confident now that you've made an appearance that they're going to be sensitive to the concerns that you've raised. But all that being said, I feel good about the mitigation plan that has been proposed for this case. So that being said, Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the application in case V2, subject to staff comments.
All right.
Right.
Okay. All right, I've got a motion, I've got a second. Let me clarify that motion, that the final approval to be issued by the Stormwater Department.
Right.
Is that correct?
Right. That's what.
Okay, we're on subject to that. All right, I've got a motion, I've got a second. Now I'm in the discussion stage. Any comments or discussions on that? My only concern is I don't think that gentleman should have to bear any cost. And,
Roger?
yes,
No, but if there is residual runoff, it may be because of his house, because he's over 35%.
yeah. Okay,
That's not before us.
that is not before us. I've got a motion, I've got a second. We've all had enough time and call for the vote. All in favor signify by voting. And we're going to vote 4-0 to approve that application. All right, anything else to come before us, John?
That completes your agenda, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Okay. Okay, we're a little out of order. Got a motion, got a second. All in favor signify by voting. We got to do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is a new year, but let me bring to everybody's attention that we have our assistant county clerk is going to leave us. This is her last meeting. Laurie has been with the county for 29 years, and we certainly appreciate all the hard work and everything you've done for us and helped us throughout the years. So we want to wish you the best of luck in the future.
And a nice smile.
And your nice smile. All right, if there's nothing else before us, I declare the session over. Thank you very much. Happy New Year.